So I talk a lot about how we should eat whole, real food and avoid processed food because it's not good for you. But what does that actually mean? And I should really be more specific. So here's this video. I'm going to break it down into three categories. We have whole, real food, we have ultra processed food, and then we have minimally processed food. So first you have the real whole foods. These are the foods that you could theoretically go into the garden or the forest or the ocean and just find them, pluck them off a tree, take them out of the ground, and you eat them as they are or you prepare them yourself. So I'm talking beans, peaches, berries, seaweed, you get the point. These are the foods that exist in nature and you eat them while they're still recognizable. Then on the other hand, you have ultra processed foods, which are technically edible, but I wouldn't really call them food because they're unrecognizable from anything that you'd find in nature. And they come packaged and shelf stable because they have all kinds of things in them. They're chemically altered and they're made with ingredients that you wouldn't find in kitchen or your house or anywhere in nature. They've got ingredient lists that are filled with preservatives, artificial colors, flavorings, even natural flavoring, hydrogenated oils, refined oils, sugar, or a ton of ingredients that just sound like chemicals. So fortified foods are foods that have isolated or synthetic nutrients in them, and that's processed, period. Because if you pick an avocado off of a tree, the ingredient list would say avocado. The ingredient list of a food wouldn't say something like ascorbic acid because you're not going to go outside and find an ascorbic acid tree and pick an ascorbic acid, right? Not how whole foods work. But then you've got this middle category, which is a gray area. It's the minimally processed foods category. So these are foods that have been changed in some way, but through simple traditional methods that still preserve a lot of the food's original integrity and the nutrients. Examples of this are freezing, drying, canning, grinding. The way I like to think about it is that if somebody could have done this 200 years ago, the chances are that it didn't include a lab and it's much less concerning to eat it. But so this is where people get confused, right? For example, with soy milk. The first thing I'd say to figure out if it's a whole food is to look at the ingredient list. Is it just soybeans and water? Ask yourself, how is it stored? Because let's say I made soy milk fresh from my kitchen, right? How long do you think that would last? Probably not that long. So if it's sitting in a cardboard box on a shelf and can be there for 6 months to a year, something's probably done to make it shelf stable. This is why we really have to use discernment. Whole foods are always the best. Minimally processed foods are next. And just try to avoid ultra processed foods at all costs. Because if it needs a laboratory to make it and it contains ingredients that you don't recognize, or if it's been chemically altered to the point where it no longer even resembles a real food, I would stay away from it. So anyway, I hope that brings some clarity as to what processed food is and what we're really referring to here. My name is Tasha. I'm a nutrition coach. If you need help getting back into balance with your diet or lifestyle, head to the link in my bio and book a session with me. Otherwise, follow along for more. We're all getting healthy together.